Broadcasting Company. After another prostate-busting night of the Golden Bachelorette tonight, wow, what a show. You know, they started with 24 men vying for Joan's TV love. They were down to 14. 6 were eliminated, 4 died of natural causes. And tonight, the Golden guys had to decide who'd sleep on the top bunk, which is not as easy as it sounds. Some of them snore, some of them have bad knees, one of them sleeps naked, and they all wake up a lot of times to go pee. So there are a lot of logistics going into putting 5 guys in one bedroom. They're lined up outside the men's room like it's a Lakers game at 4 a.m. Instead of a cocktail party, this week they had a barbecue. And I'll tell you something, you ladies know, there's nothing sexier than a bunch of men in their 60s arguing over how to grill a burger.
When you're cooking a burger, don't ever pat it down.
Right. If you're gonna barbecue, you gotta barbecue right. So I think I'm gonna barbecue sauce them now.
But I wouldn't put barbecue sauce on my burger in 30 years. I mean, it just can't happen because I like the flavor of the meat.
This is New York style.
And I also cook my burgers to medium rare, not overdone. It's just me. A lot of people don't like to see any pink. I love my burgers mooing. Actually, all your burgers are done right now. Just saying.
Well, that was Jack from Chicago advocating for pink meat. And I have to say, I couldn't possibly agree with anything anyone has ever said more. I mean, after 21 years of this show, I'm finally in love with someone, and it's Jack. And by the way, I will also add, well done with barbecue sauce is not New York style. New York style is with mustard and pickles and a little nibble of a rat bite taken out of it. But Jack hit the road, Joan sent him home, and for the 14 remaining Bachelor hopefuls, the stakes are as high as their testicles are low.
Being here is a golden opportunity now, and it just got real.
Joan's graceful and poised and elegant. She really does look like royalty.
Well, I just think she has the energy, she has the intelligence, she has the grit, she has the stamina.
I was mesmerized by her beauty, her eyes, her poise. It was just really something for me to experience.
She's making it easier to form a union. And we know that in your union, your family does better. Yeah, I'm just very excited about it.
Balls to the walls, that's right. They are all over the place. President Biden was up early this morning to chat with the ladies of The View. This is the first time a sitting president has been on The View live, and it worked out perfectly. He was fun, he was sharp, and the taping ended just before bedtime at noon. Meanwhile, Team Trump is reeling from yet another computer hack. The Trump campaign has now been hacked twice in the last 2 months, which is what happens when you store secret documents next to the urinal at a golf course. After the first hack in August, several news outlets got an email containing sensitive inside information from someone who went by the name Robert. We don't know who Robert is, but he sent the email from an AOL account, so we do know that he's more than 65 years old. Intelligence officials believe Iran was behind the first hack and could be behind this one, too. Trump campaign spokesworm Stephen Chung said the hack shows that Iran is terrified of the strength and resolve of Donald J. Trump. And it also shows that his password is McNuggets123. One of the journalists who received the stolen documents said the documents may be embarrassing or problematic to members of the Trump campaign, as if anyone who works for the Trump campaign is capable of embarrassment. But the good news for Trump is the reporters refuse to publish the documents because they have journalistic integrity and because rewarding another country for hacking into a candidate's emails would be downright un-American.
Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you will probably be rewarded mightily by our press.
Well, I guess there's no such thing as karma. The Iranians, though, they really do seem to have it out for Trump. Last night, Trump was personally briefed by the director of national intelligence about potential threats from Iran to try to assassinate him. And when Trump heard this, he said, "Oh, my God, Iran? Who did I run from?" Thank you. Then the Ayatollah went right to Truth Social to squeeze some juice out of this. He wrote, "Big threats on my life by Iran. The entire U.S. military is watching and waiting. Moves were already made by Iran that didn't work out, but they will try again. Not a good situation for anyone. I am surrounded by more men, guns, and weapons than I have ever seen before, except for that night I slept over at Kid Rock's house. And then he said something I've never seen him say before. Thank you to Congress for unanimously approving far more money to Secret Service. 0 no votes, strictly bipartisan. Nice to see Republicans and Democrats get together on something. Yes, I wonder who has driven them so far apart. It's a mystery. And yet, even though both parties joined together to protect him while he plays putt-putt, he is angry at the White House for not doing more.
As you know, there have been 2 assassination attempts on my life that we know of, and they may or may not involve, but possibly do, Iran. But if I were the president, I would inform the threatening country, in this case Iran, that if you do anything to harm this person, we are going to blow your largest cities and the country itself to smithereens. We're going to blow it to smithereens. You can't do that.
Right, and the reason you can't do it is because they currently have the ability to activate a nuclear weapon in about a week. And the reason they have that ability is because you backed out of the deal agreeing to dismantle most of their nuclear weapons. Oops, you did it again. And then, because he's nothing if not a clear thinker, Trump followed that wish for World War III with this.
You know, they talk about the paperclip. The paperclip is a very simple thing. A lot of people say, gee, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, no one has ever, never been said by anyone ever. The paperclip was invented more than 150 years ago. No one has ever looked at a paperclip and said, gosh, if only I'd been born in 1851. I could have invented this. Yesterday, Trump was in Georgia, where they're working very hard to fix the election for him. And once again, he had a little McFit about whether or not Kamala Harris worked at McDonald's.
She lied about McDonald's. She said, I was a worker in McDonald's. And I stood over the French fries. I'm going to a McDonald's over the next 2 weeks. And I'm going to stand over the French fries because I want to see what her job really wasn't like, because she never... I stood over the French fries, and that was tough. It was hot outside, and it was hot over. She never worked there. It was a lie.
He really should just be running for Mayor McCheese, you know? It's so dumb. It's so petty. But so is he, I guess. And for whatever reason, maybe they don't have anything real to criticize. His sycophant friends at Fox News they eat this stuff up.
Joey from Oak Hills, California. Hopefully Mr. Trump will work the French fryer. Then at least one of the candidates will have worked at McDonald's. It's such a great move because Trump's like at his best when he's at a fast food restaurant.
Yeah, well, yeah. Never that I'd say this, but the guy in the lipstick is right. He is. He is at his best in a fast food restaurant, and that is where he should work. There's growing concern now amongst campaign officials that Trump might be having trouble getting out the vote. Turnout is key, especially in battleground states, and there are reportedly very few people knocking on doors on his behalf. The field director for the Republican Party in Michigan's second largest county, a guy named Nate Wilkowski, said he hasn't had anyone knocking on doors in his area, which is sad. It's almost as sad as the time Nate tweeted, "Got to shake hands with Eric Trump, no picture." What kind of materials would a door-to-door Trump supporter even hand out? It's like, please take this VHS copy of Home Alone 2. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Just watch it. But the biggest news out of Trump's mouth today was an admission. You know, he keeps saying he won the election. I don't know if he had a mental lapse or if he just forgot to keep lying, but yesterday, he said he lost.
We did much better, by the way, in the election of 2020 than we did in 2016. Just remember that. Millions and millions of votes more. More votes than any sitting president in the history of our country. But they beat us by a whisker. They beat us just by a little whisker. He beat us from the basement.
Okay, good. Was that so hard? I mean, he's finally at the acceptance stage of grief. Speaking of the basement, the Chicago White Sox at this moment are tied for the single worst season record in modern baseball history. They've lost 120 games. They are tied with the 1962 New York Mets, but they still have 5 more games to go. They got a big come-from-behind win over the Angels last night, which, I don't know, to me makes no sense. If you're going to be a loser, why not be the best loser? I mean, why not be the biggest loser the game has ever seen? And whoever's running the White Sox Twitter account, they get it. They've had a lot of fun with this. This is what they posted Friday after they lost to the Padres. Final, the number of runs we scored was not greater than the number of runs they scored. Here's one from after they lost to the Angels last week. Final, the other team scored more runs than us. And this is what they tweeted after losing the Padres on Saturday. Final can be found on the MLB app. That's how you do it. Right, Guillermo?
That's right, Jimmy.
You know this.
Yes.
You know, for a lot of young men, baseball's how we learned about sex. You'd ask, like, what base did you get to? Guillermo, go through the bases. What's first base?
First base, holding hands and kissing.
Okay, second base.
Second base is boobies. Boobies.
Or that's the steal sign, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What is third base?
Third base for below the waist.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we all know what home plate is, right?
Making sweet love.
Yes. Sadly, you know, so for most men, that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah.
As far as our knowledge of the female body. So last time my wife was on the show talking about reproductive rights, and I started wondering, does the average American man even know what the term reproductive rights means? And to get the answer, we sent our team out on the streets of beautiful downtown Burbank to find out.
We're out here, we're talking to people about women's reproductive rights.
Okay. Always a hot button topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are reproductive rights?
Reproductive rights? I don't know, just reproductive rights?
What are reproductive rights?
You know, I suppose you don't think about that kind of thing unless it's a problem.
What are reproductive rights?
They're what the state determines they are by your elected people in the state passing laws.
Is it unfair that women in certain states don't have reproductive rights anymore?
Every woman has reproductive rights in this country.
Okay.
So your question is not focused right.
Got it. Thanks for refocusing me. Where would you rank the importance of reproductive rights?
They're way down at the bottom.
Can you hold up the list and then show me where it would go?
Well, they'd be down at the bottom.
All the way at the bottom?
Not at the bottom. It's above the bottom.
Above the bottom.
Yeah, okay.
So pretty low, though.
Yes.
What are reproductive rights?
Tough question. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm pro-choice. But with that being said, I think it's a very difficult issue. It's a very complicated issue. I don't think it's an issue that should be legislated against. I don't. But there is one thing about Kamala Harris, which I got a major complaint about.
Okay.
So for my whole life, I was a baseball player back on the East Coast.
Cool.
Okay? So I started dipping skull long cut cherry. So I come out here to LA. I go to 8 convenience stores. Nobody's got skull long cut cherry. So the 8th guy says, hey, I can't sell you that. I said, what do you mean you can't sell me that? He said, it's been outlawed. I said, what do you mean skull long cut's been outlawed? It's been banned. Can't sell it. It's against the law. I said, oh, are you kidding me? He said, no, thank Kamala Harris for that. She's the one who had skull long cut cherry banned, and yet marijuana, it's like on every street corner out there. You can't get skull long cut cherry, but everybody's smoking dope out here.
It's crazy that in one state you're allowed to have that skull long cherry, and
Yeah.
then in another state you're not.
Right.
Every state being different.
Isn't that something?
What's a bigger tragedy, women's reproductive rights getting cut or long skull cut cherry?
For me personally, skull long cut cherry, I'm not really, at my age, I'm really not worried about getting pregnant.
All right, well, nor should you be. Madam Vice President, please end the national nightmare for this poor, nicotine-withdrawn man and bring back skull long cut cherry.